The Buddha image is the most significant in the realm of iconography. However, there is no clear indication in history as to what was the first statue of the Buddha. Some researchers conclude that Buddha statues first became evident in India about the 1st century of the Common Era. A belief prevailed among ancient people that if the proportions of the image were inexact when presented for veneration, then the sculptor, the country, and its people would face dire consequences. Therefore, the ancient artisans employed scientific methods to calculate the matrix for their work. This would be an example for makers of statues today. In the past, artists and sculptors learnt of the art of Buddha statuary from volumes such as Bimbamanya, also known as Shariputra and Manjusri drawing. In achieving accuracy in proportion and maintaining symmetry, the artisans abided with what is called the talakrama, or visual acuity in balance. The metrical units were known as thala, angula, and yawa. The tool employed was the lapatha, which measured yawa and inches. In statuary of Sri Lanka, the new thala method was what was widely used. Within that matrix, the height of the figure was determined to be 9 times that of the height of the face. The Aukana, Mahavyara, and Abhayagiri statues belong within this tradition. There existed another measuring system known as Dasatala Krama. In this matrix, the height of the figure was 10 times that of the face plus 4 inches. Using the plumb line or lambamana to mark the points for sculpting, the statue was then planned for artistic execution. Sculptors of the past studied their art even as they developed their natural talent by examining the texts such as Shariputra and Mayamata. They were also encouraged to desist from badness, assume an exemplary way of life, and to adopt a meditative mood before they were moved to employ their chisels and mallets in their noble craft. Such skilled persons were responsible for the statues such as the Samadhi Buddha in Anuradhapura, and also Maligavila and Aukana in that same period. Another era dawned when the artisans created their sculptures in the Uttararame, also known as the Galvihara in Polonnaruwa. Statues were also crafted in Madirigiriya and at the Watadage in Polonnaruwa, which housed the Palladium. They were able to effect their art upon hard rock stones and express much subtlety in design. They depicted 32 characteristics of nobles, including 212 distinguishing features that marked the particular attributes of holiness, almost animating the statues so as to be able to communicate an aura of compassion and gentility. The indigenous artisans can claim superiority over other sculptors in the world in the manner of their fashioning with rock, over and above artistic achievements in terracotta, ivory, wood, gold, silver, or crystal. It is likely that their creative impulse was fired not by personal ambition, but as a result of an exercise in devotion. Here are some of the characteristics as depicted in the Buddha statuary of the indigenous craftsmen. A vast collection of such artifacts is to be found spread across the country. The guard stone or Muragala at Ratnaprasade, the Koravaggal balustrades of rock, the magnificently ornamented semicircular granite step, the Sandakadapahana, and the reception hall with the staircase of carved lions, as well as the Bhairava statues, vividly bespeak both the keenness of the ancient artist and his inventive approaches and innovative inspiration. All this obtains in conjunction with their adherence to the Buddhist philosophical concepts of transcendental advancement beyond the mundane. Similar to the Aukkana and Maligavila monuments of the Anuradha period are the temples of Lankatilaka and Tivanka Image House in the medieval capital of Polonnaruwa. The magnificence of these works in depicting the height of artistic and technological accomplishment with their iconography as well as with vast edifices in brick and mortar beggars the imagination. It can be supposed that the initiative for all this outpouring of talent was on account of an enlightened monarchy. These accomplishments of the ancient Sinhala people, which now repose in museums and at conserved archaeological sites, provide a glimpse into what was possible with the adaptation and employment of building materials. Such artistic expression has found release both in the corporeal and spiritual spaces. At Isurumuni, the secular aspects from the Anuradhapura era are to be noted in the frieze of the lovers, the man and his horse, and cavorting elephants in a seemingly ductile medium, but in reality of firm rock. The stone sculpture that dominates Polonnaruwa and is accorded pride of place is an imposing human image, which some suggest is that of King Parakramabahu, while others deem it to be a sage, such as Pulatisi. At the Tivanka image house, the creations of plaster deities, priests, layfolk and animals are all of arresting beauty and also give evidence of the confluence of Buddhism and Hindu culture and art as part of the advancing influence of that age of change. At the image house, there are depictions of persons who aspired to a higher spiritual state of being as bodhisatwas. The medieval artists of Sri Lanka fashioned these vast images of such bodhisattvas in close proximity to the Maligavila Buddha statue at Dambegoda in Buttala to indicate the characteristics of bodhisattvas. Lanka is still able to foster and nurture such talent as would be able to create such works of art, which in turn establishes the credible idea that in historical times the people were so accomplished. This young and talented artisan who engages in the forming of replicas is an example of that. Is this not cause of pride for the future?